about earlier with like you would go to swimming and be the guy where they're like, bring in the Woodster, to like jump in and be like the butterfly man. I did something like that, but I was not useful. So obviously Yonas doesn't know the sport I played growing up was ice hockey, and I played goalie for a huge percentage of it. And when I got to be like 16, the way high schools work is I played for club teams mostly, so I didn't take high school as seriously because the skill's just not there. And I played for the high school team, and they also had high school, varsity, JV, and then something called C team. And what C team is in hockey is it's middle schoolers and freshmen and sophomores who are not good enough to play JV or varsity, and so they play in this very low-level league. Because, there's a lot of people who like hockey.
I'm glad that's a thing. It's great that that's a thing because that doesn't exist in a lot of other sports. Like, there was a point when I was like, I can't play baseball anymore. Like, because there's no, like, fun, silly baseball leagues that I'm aware. You can go play softball with a bunch of old dudes, but I'm not going to fucking do that.
This was basically making it. Yeah, it was a full check league. This comes into the story. And they were like, well, you can't play goalie on this team because that's you're not allowed. That'd be unfair. But you can play out. You can play forward if you want, and I'd never got to play forward as like a grown up. I didn't know how to like hit the right mechanics and everything. Like all the rules I knew the rules, but I'd never been in a clash against the board, so I didn't know like how the rules would pan out. So I was like, oh, I'm so excited! I'm gonna get to hit. And keep in mind, at this point, the only reason I was allowed to play C team is because they're like, hey, this guy who looks like he's 23, he's actually a junior in high school. And he only plays goalie, so you should make an exception and let him play on the C team. And they're like, oh, he's a goalie, he won't even be able to skate, he'll be fine, let him play. And so they let me get all dressed out in my stuff. And I was so excited.
I had like where'd that come from?
I wore my dad's gear.
Okay.
And so I wore my dad's stuff, old rusty ass helmet. So like people looking,
This is like something out of Game of Thrones when like the old fat knight comes out. This shit's not modern anymore.
Putting it all on, getting my stick, my wooden cheap ass Sherwood stick that my dad's like, I'll just take this. If you break it, who gives a fuck? Well, everybody else has their nice sticks. And in my head, I'm just so excited and a little bit nervous. I'm like, I can't wait to get a hit. I can't fucking wait to get a hit. I've never felt what that feels like before. Rule in hockey, you should know. Charging. You're not allowed to take more than 3 strides towards an opponent because you are on ice and you can get going like 30 miles an hour, and that's how you kill people. And so I didn't fully internalize this rule.
Especially people with rusty helmets.
Yes, and keep in mind, like, it's not like you'd be watching this game and be like, oh, man, there's a couple big guys on both teams. Like, you would look at it and be like, oh, there must be a handicapped fella over there who's just, a head and shoulders taller than everybody else. and so this guy, we were in their zone, and we had dumped the puck behind the net, and this guy on their team, head down, bad move against me, I'll make you pay the piper. He comes back around the net looking for that puck. I see the opportunity. I don't do what hockey players are supposed to do, where I glide into that area and then maybe take a step and hit him and knock the puck away. The puck wasn't even on my mind. Thankfully, the guy picked it up. I just make a beeline, charging for this dude, lower my shoulder and just get him right in the chest, square to the glass. And I shit you not, the glass didn't break. The pane got knocked out. I hit him so fucking hard. And immediately the refs are blowing their shit, and their whole team is coming up on me trying to throw punches and hit me, and I'm like, my bad, man. Like I thought it would be kind of fun, like just easily pushing these kids away, because if you get in a real fight in any non-professional hockey league, they take that super fucking seriously. Like they'll just kick you out of the league, and so I'm like, I'm not gonna drop the gloves and not be able to play anymore as a goalie, and so I just kind of stood there and took it, and then I got it was like 2 minutes into my first shift as a forward, and I got a 5-minute major for a 5-minute major for what was it? Charging, and that was it. It wasn't a 5-minute major at first. It was a 10-minute misconduct, because it was borderline unsportsmanlike conduct. How hard I hit this kid. And then the coach said, oh, come on, he doesn't even know how to play out. This is his first time playing out. That's his first hit. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's like, all right, 5-minute major, charging. It's like, sat there in the box like the whole time, like, this is fucking awesome. This is great. Like, I do something shit.
If you could have done that every game, would you have? Like,
I would have, because you know what? I had been trained as a goalie that every time my team gets a penalty, I'm like, fuck. All right, guys, I'll bail you out because now we're a man short and I'm going to get shelled. I took that horrible penalty and I was sitting there looking out on the ice and I was like, oh, man, like I did the shitty thing. They all have to pay for it and I get a 5-minute break. So they actually did not let me return and play any more games.
Really?
It was a smart move because
he
I
was playing against 8th graders as a 6'1", 200-pound man. He had a hairy chest like the fucking Wolverine, and he was checking boys through the pane of glass. Of course, they didn't let him play again.
Yeah, like
Good
when the
point.
refs skate over to be like,
dead.
"Hey, settle down." I'd be like, "Hey, you're 2 years younger than me. I see you sometimes at the rink." Like